Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to measure out carbohydrates on a scale. I'm going to start with this steel cut oats, and I'm going to assume that my next meal has 45 carbohydrates in it. So how am I going to figure that out? Because the serving size here is 29 carbohydrates per serving size. So what do? Well, I take this number up here where it says 44 because that's how many grams are in a serving size on a scale. And I'm going to take the total carbohydrates per serving size here, which is 29. So I'm going to divide 44 by 29 to figure out the amount of grams per carbohydrate. So I'm going to do 44 divided by 29, which means that it's 1.15 grams for 1 gram of carbohydrate, right? So now I have 45 carbohydrates that I need in this meal. So I'm going to take that number, I'm going to multiply it by the amount of carbohydrates I need in my meal. Now I know on a scale I need to weigh out 68 grams. So I'm going to come to my scale, I'm going to make sure it's on grams, I'm going to tear it out, and I'm going to pour the oatmeal with one hand onto the scale without making a mess, and measure out. Shooting for 68 here. Almost there. So that's about a gram over. I'm not going to stress that. If I really wanted to stress it, I could take some out and make a whole mess while I do that. But let's just say that's good enough. So that's 68. So this is my 45 grams of carbohydrates for my next meal. So how did I do that again? I switch hands. I look at the label here. I see that there's 44 grams in a serving. That's 44 grams on a scale. This is 29 carbohydrate grams. So I divide the 44 by 29. I come up with the amount of grams on a scale per carbohydrate, which is 1.51, 1.5. And then I'm going to multiply that by the amount of carbs I need. In this meal I needed 45, so I knew it had to be 68 on the scale. Now, let's say that I needed 30 carbs in this meal. Well, then I'm just going to multiply that by 30, and then I'd only measure out 45 on the scale. So instead of 68, I would take some out and bring that down to 45. So I think you kind of understand that, right? Perfect. So that would give me 45 carbs. Now, the same thing can go for something like pancake mix. In this case, it's 53 grams, and if I needed to make 45 grams, I would take the 53, divide it by this number here. This is the 35 carbs per serving. So, well, it is also 1.5. Isn't that amazing? So I would multiply it by 45, and I'd get 68 again. That's pretty coincidental. Now let's take something like a food that is a rice cake, for instance. Here, it's 15 grams for the serving and 12 carbohydrates, right? Same thing, 15 divided by 12. Sorry, is 1.25. Now, if I needed 45 carbohydrates in this meal, I would multiply that by 45, and I would have to weigh out 56 carbs on the scale. I don't think I have enough rice cakes left in here to even get to that number, but let's just say I did. I would physically take these rice cakes out of the package and put them on the scale. Not so easy with one hand, but let's see this. Alright, so that's 19. So I would need like 3 times that amount. But if I had more, I would put it on, weigh it out until I got to 56 grams, and then I would know that I had my 45 carbohydrates. The other way to do it here is this just basically tells you, this is to me the easier way, 3 cakes is 12 grams of carbs. Okay, great. So if I want 45 carbs, I know that I'm going to need about 9, maybe 10 cakes, right? Another way to do this, if you don't want to be as precise, is if you know a quarter cup dry is 29 carbs, then you know that you need 1.5 times that amount, right, to get 45 carbs. So you need a little under a half a cup, right? So that's kind of the ways to do it. Some people like to be more precise and use a scale. Some people are just like, I don't want to get all that involved. I am just going to measure stuff out. And they figure it out that way. Hopefully that clarifies it a little bit.